Hey everyone, Brian from Workshop Addict, and today we're going to take a look at Milwaukee's new M18 Fuel String Trimmer, model number 2725-21HD, and this kit comes with a 9.0 amp hour battery, the string trimmer, and a rapid charger. Now we're going to go through this unit and show you some tips and tricks, some of which you should do immediately as you're putting this unit together. First, let's start out that this unit has a 14 or 16 inch cutting swath, and that's determined by the string cutter that is on the guard. Simply remove the bolts and flip it around to put it in the 16 inch cutting swath. We recommend that right off the bat, and it will give you a better experience using this string trimmer. Next, this unit can either use 0.080 line or 0.095 line. Now it's shipped with a twisted 0.080 line that is very thin, and frankly, I don't really like it at all, because we got up next to some of the block around the barn or any concrete or even in weeds, and that line would break off or wear out very fast. Highly suggest you either burn through it and don't make your initial assumption on how this unit works based off that string, or just switch up immediately to your favorite string. We immediately bumped up to some 0.095 line that we had sitting around in a bag with some water in it to keep it good and nice and flexible, and it really improved the performance of this unit. Changing string is fairly simple. You're just going to pop the head off the bottom and unwind any string that's left on there. You can cut up to 25 feet of 0.080 line or 20 feet of 0.095 line. Find your center line and start wrapping it back up. Once you get it wrapped up, put everything in the little slots to hold it, pop the unit back in. It's fairly simple. It's not the most speediest ones on the market, but it is easy to change line on. The bump feed system on the head to feed more line out works just as almost any other string trimmer on the market. In the beginning, you will note it is a little bit stiff, and if you're using the stock trimmer line that comes with it, you might not actually hear that you're cutting off that line. So you might be hitting it on the ground a few more times than what you need be, because you're just simply cutting that string trimmer line really quick, because it is kind of mediocre. So as you put on larger line, you will notice that that bump feed works a lot better, because you'll be able to hear the string hit the cutter and actually cut. The Milwaukee String Trimmer has a high and low setting for RPMs. So along with the variable speed trigger, on low you have a 0 to 4600 RPM, and on high you have a 0 to 5800 RPM. Now while using that, the 5800 RPM sure seemed a lot faster than that, because this unit really plowed through some nice deep grass and weeds. Now with that said, I really think that the high and low is not overly necessary unless you want to conserve on battery. The variable speed trigger is very easy to use, and the motor inside this is very responsive. In fact, Milwaukee puts on the box that it'll go from 0 to wide open or 5800 RPMs within a half a second, and it sure feels that way. The string trimmer weighs 12.3 pounds and is very balanced and easy to use. A few of the maintenance tips that we'd suggest after 50 hours, there is a gearbox down here. So the motor is located up top, and the gearbox is located in the string trimmer head. 13mm bolt opens up the greasable area where you can add some more grease to that box. Recommended after 50 hours. Put that bolt back in. Don't overfill it with grease, just add a little bit and go. Runtime is always an interesting item to discuss, because everybody gets a little bit different runtime and everybody uses their equipment slightly different. Now we are in February, and if you notice outside there is no snow, which is very odd, but we're cutting a lot of dead grass. In some ways we're really pushing the unit, in some ways we're not, because the grass is dead. So our initial push, where we really went out and just buried this thing trying to maybe overload the unit or figure out how much power it has, we got about 15 minutes out of the battery. That is not going to be normal use. That's going to be someone going out and basically brush cutting. If you are to use it normally, going around a shop, going around your house, using it in normal grass, we found that we could get about 33 minutes on high. That's how we like to use them. We don't use them on low. We use the variable speed trigger if we need to lower things down, or we're just cutting wide open. Now Milwaukee says you can get an hour out of this, and I would suspect that that's on low and possibly, feathering that back a little bit. So your runtime is going to vary on how you actually use this, but I will say we've used some much larger battery powered string trimmers that have had close to the same performance, if not, you know, maybe a little less performance, and they have about the same runtime. So Milwaukee's got a great little package here. Overall, I think Milwaukee knocked it out of the park with this unit, giving you some really good power, especially for an 18-volt system, with some great runtime, along with a brushless motor inside that actually gets up to speed very quick, a nice variable speed trigger that you can use and not wonder what's going on with the motor. It's not mushy, it's very responsive, and it's comfortable and balanced. It's not overly heavy and it's not overly light. I think that this combination of having the motor up top, having a shaft going down, and the gearbox on the bottom gives them a little bit more options to run a little bit different RPM on the motor, change the gearing down here, and give them some more torque, because you definitely didn't notice it bogging down in a lot of different situations. Now, we did try to actually get into an overload situation after we actually bunched this thing up with grass once. And it did stop when we just had it completely packed with grass. But just pushing it into the ground and trying to get it to stop like we've seen some other units, it didn't have that happen. Now, with that said, in the beginning we went through some of the things we'd suggest you do. Make it a 16-inch swath. You know, either deal with the line that comes with it for a while, but bump up to the 0.095 line after a while. I think you'll really enjoy this. If you're into Milwaukee tools and you don't have the 9.0 battery yet, this is a great excuse to get the kit, get the battery with it, use it on some other tools. Thanks for your time, guys, watching this review. Check us out on social media. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day.